Alright, if you guys could please turn to 2.4, Library of Functions, Piecewise-Defined Functions. I'm going to give you guys some properties of the square root of x. Alright, so properties of f of x equals root x. The domain is from 0 to infinity. The range is also from 0 to infinity. It only has one intercept. It's both the x and y intercept, 0, 0. It is neither even nor odd. It's increasing from 0 to infinity, and it has a minimum at 0, 0. Okay? And it looks something like this. Let's draw a rough sketch.
Check the oven.
There we go. Okay.
They are done? Nope. Can you put 2 minutes on the clock, please?
Alright, so, for example, alright, you know, I think I'm actually going to have you guys skip this example. So go ahead and cross it out. At one point I meant to delete it, and I ended up just not doing that. Basically, I just want you guys to be familiar with these graphs. I don't want you to spend time graphing it and discovering these things. I will give you the properties, but I want you guys to familiarize yourselves with these graphs. So let me give you the properties of cube root. Okay, the domain is from negative infinity to infinity. The range is also from negative infinity to infinity. It only has one intercept. The x and y intercept are 0, 0. It's odd. It's increasing all the way, and it has no local max or min. Alright, and the graph looks something like this. Alright, looks something kind of like this. Alright, once again, go ahead and just cross this one out. The properties of absolute value of x. Alright, the domain is negative infinity to infinity. The range is 0 to infinity, including 0. It has one intercept, 0, 0. It's even. It decreases from negative infinity to infinity and then increases from 0 to infinity. And it has a minimum at x equals 0. And it looks, hopefully you guys kind of already know this, it looks kind of like a V. Kind of like that. Alright, down here you have a bunch of graphs. Okay, and I totally meant to give you one full page for this, but whatever. It's alright. I'm going to give you the functions for each of these, and I want you guys to use your calculators or your knowledge to give me the graphs. Constant function, this is when y equals some number. The identity function.
The date because Vicky has to turn her car in to reattach her.
Y equals x. The square function. Y equals x squared. Cube function. Y equals x cubed. Square root function. Y equals root x. Cube root function. Y equals cube root of x. Reciprocal function, y equals 1 over x, and absolute value function, y equals absolute value of x. And the integer function, alright, this one, I'm curious to see how many of you guys will figure out how to do this on your calculator. Y equals integer x. Okay, I would like you guys to figure out these 8. This one, if anyone figures out what the graph looks like, I will give you a checkpoints pass tomorrow. Okay? Just let me know. Alright, you guys can go ahead and try this one. Example 3. The function f is defined as, it's kind of in pieces. This is called a piecewise function. I think you guys are somewhat familiar with this, hopefully. Find f of 0, f of 1, f of 2. Okay, f of 0. 0 is in between negative 3 and 1, so we're going to use this function. If you plug in 0, you get 0 plus 1, which is 1. F of 2, well, 2 is greater than 1, so I'm going to use this function. So this is 2 squared, 4. Okay? Determine the domain of f. To find the domain of f, we need to look at its definition. Since f is defined for all x greater than or equal to 3, the domain of f is, negative 3. The domain of f is let me give you the d. Negative 3 to infinity. Alright, graph f. This is the tough part. You guys should know what all of these graphs look like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph each piece of them. Negative x plus 1. Hey. Looks something like this. Negative x plus 1. Here's your b. You're going to go down 1 over 1. So it looks like this. Okay? But this is only the case from negative 3 to 1. So, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. So only from this point to this point here.
I don't have enough oil.
Imagine that was a straight line. Sorry. Okay, so that's that part. F of x equals 2 if f equals 1. So, at x equals 1, y equals 2. And I just realized I made a little mistake. Sorry about this, you guys. Hope maybe some of you guys caught it. This should be an open circle, not a closed circle. This one's a closed circle. The reason is because if you look at our function, it's greater than or equal to negative 3. And it should be, let me see here. This should be just a regular less than. Okay? Now, if x is greater than 1, it equals x squared. And you guys hopefully know that x squared kind of looks like a u. So it would look something kind of like this. So from this point onward, it would look like this. Okay? So there's our piecewise function. Okay, use the graph to find the range of f. The range, it looks like it's defined everywhere from, well, not quite 0, but almost to 0, all the way up to infinity. So let me change colors again. This is part D. So I've got 0 to infinity, and I forgot the R. There we go. Is f continuous on its domain? It is not continuous. It has a discontinuity right here at x equals 1. Discontinuous at x equals 1. Alright? Okay. Example 4. In May 2006, Commonwealth Edison Company supplied electricity to residences for a monthly customer charge of $7.58 plus 8.275 cents per, I don't even know what that stands for, kilowatt hour for all usage over 400 kilowatt hours in the month. What is the charge for using 300 kilowatt hours in a month? What is the charge for using 700 kilowatt hours in a month? If C is the monthly charge for X kilowatt hours, develop a model relating the monthly charge and kilowatt hours used. I guess it stands for kilowatt hours. It looks like it would be. That is, express C as a function of X. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. First thing, every month, this company charges $7.58 plus 8.275 cents per hour, and I'm just going to call this X. So, for 300 hours, I would plug in 300 for this. Let me pull out a calculator. Actually, let me call this C of X. I kind of did this problem backwards.
Mom, the way you met, your hand moved, that was counterclockwise.
So C of x equals this. A would be if you just plugged in 300 for x. And I think you guys are pretty good at plugging stuff into your calculator, so I will just tell you that if you plug that into the equation and put it in your calculator, you get
Well, I think it is really well on my midterm.
$32.41.
My midterm for
You plug in 700, you get $59.30. Okay? All right. And that's it.
All right, what is the food?